that stage. I think I've been a founder of a couple of companies, and that's so exciting. I think one, to have a tool that could potentially, you know, take down that overwhelming feeling, right? Of, which VC do we start with, in what industry, which ones would actually be interested in our type of product, and then also, what would they specifically be looking for? Some kind of tool to guide you through that process. That's just exciting, and I can't wait to share that, with our founders network.
Yeah. Well, they're still working on Dan. You're still working on this, right? I mean, how soon before this can come out and we can get this to
work? That was my question.
We already have, about 30 VCs testing that, and some founders and some corporates. The new version, based on this testing, is probably going to be sometime in June, so it's not too far off.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to release it to open market. It's going to be probably a closed MVP, not beta, but MVP.
Your secret sauce now, right?
Well,
I see what's happening here. I can honestly keep you close.
It's about listening to the customer. There's no secret sauce. The only secret sauce actually understanding your customer, and I think this is where I follow the kind of what Ivan Zhao has so eloquently put, is you have to be obsessed with them. And I wouldn't release anything out there that at least 50 to 100 customers haven't touched before, and given me feedback. Okay, I know what you're thinking.
Right. So that kind of goes back to the point Zamir was making earlier about it's going to be now about relationships. It's going to be about mindset, and you're focusing on that moving forward in terms of educating founders on how to have the effective mindset.
Right.
What are some insights, aside from the data, that are still necessary for investors to have as well as founders to have?
So it's interesting that Zamir brought up immigrant founders, right? And being an immigrant myself, multiple immigrant, because I immigrated, a few times throughout my life, actually 5 to be exact, to different countries, and then back to US, etc. But I think there's some inherent traits that are super. Well, they wouldn't guarantee you success, but they would increase the odds, and that's what. And they're present in immigrants, just because of what they have to go through. And some of these are like things like anti-fragility. So you get.
Wait, say that again for.
Anti-fragility. So it's a concept that the author of Black Swan, that he came out with this book and concept, anti-fragility. So fragility is if I throw a glass on the floor, it breaks. It's fragile. If I throw a bottle, it's not gonna break. It's resilient. Anti-fragile, if I throw it on the floor and it becomes stronger as a result of me throwing it on the floor, that is anti-fragile. And you have to do that as someone coming into a new situation or a new country, because otherwise you just die, or you stop progressing. You don't make it, because you have to become stronger through adversity. So that's anti-fragility, and that's critical. Second one is grit. Just don't stop. Like just you and grit, by the way, is not only about persistence, it's about staying on target. So we had some questions around, okay, what is that quality that you look for in the founder when you don't have much other data? I look for grit. Actually, one of the questions I asked, tell me about your teenage years. What did you succeed in? Were you a great swimmer? Did you win a chess tournament? What did you? That shows that kind of will to continue plowing through and staying on target. Luke Skywalker, stay on target. Oh my God, they're behind me! I can stay on target. So it's that. It's literally, those are some of the key things. But the issue is, in today's world, its speed of change is so high that it's the people with such mindset that I think that will win. Not just people that are building businesses, but in general, I think it's very useful to start incorporating that mindset into how people think and operate.
I love it. Give us one more. So you talked about anti-fragility, you talked about grit, and what would be one more?
I can go with one more.
Do it. All right, chime in on this.
I think adaptation. You see, we humans as a species survived because we could adapt to whatever is happening. To adapt, and
doing a startup, doing a new role,
just living.
Yeah, living or coming across the world to live here. There's going to be culture shock. There's going to be the feeling of imposter syndrome. Like, I don't believe it. But you let go. You lean in. There's this element of being vulnerable to the fire and allowing it to refine you.
Coming out as a phoenix out of the fire.
Yeah.
Being reborn every single time.
Oh, this is good. This is good stuff. All right, so we're getting close to the 40-minute mark. Daniel, before we have you move into Eddie's chair, what are a couple takeaways in terms of your path? How can we connect with you, and where can we see you going in the next 18 months?
So, and it actually all the road leads to the same point. My path is to empower entrepreneurs, is to an ecosystem that helps entrepreneurs grow, which is corporate and VCs. And the tool that we're building with the team now is basically Innovera tool. Is basically there to do that. It's to create kind of a more even playing ground, but also, like Lisa said, give some structure, give a lot of comfort to all the players in the market, and hopefully that ends up being some kind of a GitHub. We'll see. It's always, you never know. But the second part is hopefully get a lot of young people in colleges and educational institutions to start actually incorporating the mindset, because hard skills, Vince McClung said, hey, if you were spent just a fortune on coding education, you might be just out of work in a few years. So what's going to keep you in work? Well, it's things we just talked about.
Keep you in work, and that's the mindset. That's the adaptability. That's the grit.
That's the anti-fragility. Because you're going to get broken through these changes, but you just rise back up again stronger.
So before we let you go, now I'm geeking out on this stuff.
Yeah.
When you're doing due diligence, do you unpack that? Like, do you ask your founders? Do you have a story?
As an angel, that's exactly what I unpack, because I'm investing in early stage startups.
During my 2-hour interview with founders, when they get to stage of a GP interview, I asked them about 15 different questions in terms of their background, their team, how they found each other, what motivates them, etc., etc. So the team component and their background component is a very big piece of that due diligence process.
And that's the hook for bringing you guys back, talking about that deep insight into what is required for a founder, what's required for a successful team. We're going to pause for station identification, but before we do so, Daniel, you're going to sit in Eddie's chair, where you're still going to be here asking questions, but we're going to bring in Eddie now and see what they're doing over at Podspace. So we're going to pause now. Brian, let's go to the pause. All right, we're back again. Joining us now in the hot seat is Eddie. Daniel is still in the building. And so I want to acknowledge also James is in the building. Of course, they've got the Instagram.
Wave
happening.
James to the camera over here.
Yeah,
There you are.
Wave it around. Get into it.
There you go.
All right, Eddie, thanks for joining us. You flew all the way out from Paris. I like to say that we're now attracting people from all over the world.
That's true.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Let our audience know a little bit about yourself.
Thanks. First of all, thank you for receiving us from Paris. It's went extremely fast. We opened in Spain and now Switzerland. And because we have a lot of ambition and we believe in our solution, trying this American dreams, as everyone is saying, and it was very interesting what you said just before, because, when you come here, you're a lot more stimulated. You are this kind of immigration where you want to, just be part of the game. Like a Silicon Valley game. So that's why
Yeah. So what Zamir was saying earlier really resonated with you, and how immigrating here, you're going to need those resources really quick. But I find it fascinating. So Lisa, I met Eddie at Startup Grind. And he said his mind was blown that he just steps off the plane. And what did you say to me about how things...
It's so different, like everything is going so fast, compared to France. You said it before, but it's very true. Even American, the way they speak, they have this attitude, like they always want to, just have a meeting today after day. So quick, like it's insane. But
you say that's Americans, but I think that's mostly just here.
Silicon Valley.
Maybe
Silicon Valley's a little amped up.
Yeah, I remember he ran his hands through his hair. He goes, "I just got off the plane. Now I'm on a radio show. I think it's happening so fast here."
That's so true. We were jet lagged, man. We just arrived. We were very eager to do something. Like it was maybe 3-4 hours before we just arrived. So let's do something. So I met Brian and say, we spoke. I told him what we do. And he said, "Would you like to come on the show?" I said, "Oh my God, that's crazy, man."
It's awesome. I love it.
And Brian was probably a little jealous you were running your hands through your luscious hair as well.
Yeah, I gave him a little stink eye, like, "Yeah, what do you think?" He was a flex. Yeah.
Plus, he's got the cool accent and the cool, right? He's got the cool clothes and the cool accent. Brian's just...
Here, gave me donuts. I'm gonna deliver this and they'll be handed to me. I got another order, guys. It's crazy. Today is crazy. But it's going further south. I don't want to go to Richmond. But anyways. Oh, what to do? If I cancel it, then I have to go all the way back to the downtown area. See, it's a liquor shop. Told you. People are gonna order liquors.
Green right now with envy.
Yeah, I want to be around the cool kid. Yeah, I want to be around the cool guys. Yeah, I surround myself with cool people. Look at the room full here. All right, so tell us a little bit about this isn't your first company.
Yeah, it's not my first one. It's my second one. Just to say something, I believe we're not startup. We are very entrepreneur people, James and I, because we bootstrapped the company. The former company that I did was a company named Independent.com that did like 15 million in terms of revenue. So we invested everything in Podspace. So it's how it went fast. The first idea was like to find a place where we can create content for our training and for James, which is a huge influencer in France, like with a huge audience of more than 1 million followers. And we were like, why not doing something like that can help people create more content, focus on the content part, not just the camera and all this stuff, you know? And it went, that's, everyone liked the idea, and it's how we built it and developed it as a bootstrap company still now.
So you're completely bootstrapped at this point. So okay, so what was Brian? You got a question?
I heard you say that you've got locations in different countries now, and you grew very fast. But are those brick and mortar locations like what we've got here? Like, is it a studio that you're opening where people can come to create content?
Yeah, through the marketplace, exactly. So they book it through the marketplace in Europe, and we've been. We had luck to be named in Forbes 2 weeks ago on 30 Under 30 in Europe. So it allowed us to show some visibility in the content space. You know, Goldman Sachs said that the content creation industry is like a 250 billion industry valuation. And we really wanted to show that going faster is the future of content creation, and not everyone have something to say. It's our belief. And sometimes you hear people saying stories, but they don't have anything to say, and we just wanted to give an easier opportunity to speak and share the story.
So I'm gonna kind of put your feet to the fire now a little bit. You know, I got my big guns in the room right now. I got Daniel and Zamir. So I'm gonna have Zamir ask you a few questions, because Zamir is one of those VCs that loves media. He's got a media background, talks a lot about sales, so he knows how to build relationships. Zamir, what are you hearing about Idiot and Pod?
2 minutes is all I need. Alright, at store. Alisa. I'm here. I'm here. Okay, after this I'm eating. I'm a little hungry. I have orange. Oranges are good. I mean, it's hybrid. It's, I don't know. There are no seeds in it. But anyways, who cares? It's good.
Attractive to you in terms of this creator space?
So it's true, you know, what Eddie said about the content creation, right? And one of the verticals that we invest in because of the AI and generative AI is the content creation part. The question is whether the business is solely software business or they have these offline locations. Because, you know, whenever we talk about the VC space, we always want to see a fast scaling. And whether, you know, this location is just like a lab that allows more visibility and more media coverage for what they're doing, like in Forbes magazine does, it might be, you know, good, or this is an essential part of their business model, which might eventually become the slowdown effect. You know, because again, you know, if you need to open a physical location in every country, you got to extend the team somehow, you got to partner with people, etc. So that would be my question to you in terms of your business model. Tell me a little more on your go-to-market strategy.
That's a very good question, because we thought about it from the beginning. So we opened it first like in Paris location, that's our HQ that we own. But the other locations, so we had a lot of demand, right? A lot of copycats we had in France. So some people asked us to do the same thing. So what we did is like we were focused more on the software part, right? Because it's more scalable, and we take a percentage of royalties percentage out of them, right? So we don't own the other place. We own the one of Paris, of course, but the other place we just have a royalties, and we focus on the software part, because we really wanted to not only like allow them to go faster on having a location, but also an app where when they have the content after 48 hours, they can spread it to all platforms at the same times. And so we are more focused on the tech part, yeah.
Daniel, if you got a question, I can relay it back into the mic. So if you want to pipe up at any time, you go ahead. But did you have a follow-up with that tonight?
Well, yeah, the second question would be in terms of your strategy, right? Which countries or which locations or which segments of audience do you believe are your low-hanging fruit right now? Who are you targeting?
Most of our retainer at the moment are companies. So we have a 60% of retention rate with companies. So I would say our aiming is more companies, because everyone needs content. Of course, we have a lot of content creator, but we have, for example, politics. We even received the French president in the studio in Paris. So the companies need to educate, and podcast or speaking, is a good way of education. So it's allowing people to explain more what they do. For example, in fintech too. We receive we're turning a podcast for a company named Shares. So it's a fintech company who allow people to go faster on investment through social.
So I'm gonna kick it over to Daniel in a second. Before I kick it over to you, Daniel, what I'm hearing is, I mean, in the States, I'm hearing these stories that big companies are building authority internally. They're bringing in influencers in order to pump out more content to educate, but they're doing it internally. Are you saying that you partner with those companies in order for those
This company don't do it internally. They come and actually ask us to do it for them, because they don't have the expertise sometimes.
Got it.
So
okay, Daniel, I seen you had something on the tip of your tongue. What was your question? So Daniel's asking right now about how do you make AI your ally as opposed to your foe? How would you answer that question?
That's a very good question, because we use AI. We use it like every day in our process, actually. So basically, when we have a content, we use, for example, tools like Autopod, who basically cut all the video and edit it very fastly. So it's our ally, because it helps us to go faster on the content and deliver them, as we say, a high quality content and fast to all platforms at the same time through the application.
So I have this question for you, Eddie. It seems like a very interesting idea, and you get a lot of visibility and growth. How long do you plan to bootstrap this company, and when do you intend to go out for external fundraising?
I would just starting thinking about it, to be honest, because we believe like US market is the real game, the Shark Tank game, as they say here. So yeah, we were thinking about it, because obviously the timing could be good, and
but just as a disclaimer, they are not fundraising right now, nor soliciting anyone here. However, the question is asked by a VC for himself.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked this question is because it's super important in terms of time to market. Typically, and there was a research done by one of the consulting groups saying that the bootstrap companies, they're losing 2x in speed of development comparing to venture-backed companies. So whenever you're doing something amazing, and I think you already have somebody stepping on your on your toes and following you, copycatting you, if those startups raise venture money faster and then they start spending all of that in terms of their marketing, they might outperform or outrun you guys. So that's the question.
So my question then be, what is your secret sauce? What is your mode? What is your differentiator? And for those who are listening and don't know what I just said, what makes you stand out compared to your
French touch?
Yeah, the jacket and the shoes. It's really cool.
No, I'm just kidding. The differentiation, it's I will say the tools that we use, the software we developed. We are very passionate about what we do, and I think we really know the market as few people know it in terms of content creation, because most of people who receive a very very famous people because they know the market. You know, we really know how it works, and we really believe, even though it's true, it can go faster when you bring a lot of money on it. We think you need to understand the market, and it's not just only about money. You know. So.
And Samir, I got a question. Is that enough? I mean, I'm sure the differentiator is there, and you'd unpack it a little more. But is relationships and passion and reputation enough?
Knowing the market is important, but I don't think it's enough because success is a multifactorial thing. I mean, you have so many things to be aligned in order to be successful, and especially when it comes to venture type of companies. So definitely, if we would do a due diligence on Eddie and his company, we would be asking probably close to 300 different questions.
So Eddie, how would you go a little bit deeper into your differentiator?
200%. I think it's a very good question. Very good question, and this is the most important question that someone have to ask: is how you can have the market. You know, when you want to invest on something, you want that's the biggest fish is the one that's going the having the market. So I believe the differentiation is as I said, the software, the tool we're developing with AI, because we're developing tools with AI, for example, allowing people to edit on the same app the content, and the branding, of course. Branding is very important. You become a brand like Airbnb did, for example. They have a big brand, or other huge company. I'm not comparing to Airbnb. I'm just saying branding is very important because everyone recognizes you as the leader in the market.
He's going off.
I like that.
Right. Something I'm curious about, Eddie, is for our audience, what is something that you took away from your first startup in terms of lessons learned that you applied to your second?
Don't rush on the decision. I think sometimes people don't understand it, but I think, in my opinion, as a young entrepreneur, I think sometimes you rush on the decision because you think there is a good opportunity, But sometimes you need to take time, and you will win it in the long-term run, and not on the short term. So this is my biggest lesson I've learned from the previous one.
That's a great question, because what I'm thinking about when you say that is a lot of, and Zamir, chime in if you see this, is startups get into survival mode, and they press and they press and they don't play a longer game, and they talk about runway. You're smiling, so respond.
Well, I mean, there is a comparison to a marathon, right? So building a startup is a marathon. It's not a sprint. But you have to make sure you stretch your resources wisely, and you have enough runway to do all the experimenting. Sometimes I see founders spreading themselves really thin, going into 10 different directions, and really losing and wasting the resources that they have. So I would agree with making smart decisions is important, but at the same time, moving fast enough is also important.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I'm going to jump in here. We got about 1 minute left. I want to make sure we have time to know where to contact Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie, so go ahead. How can we connect with you? How can our listeners get to know you a little better?
Yes, thank you for the shootout. So you can contact us through Instagram, Eddie Calef, or My Podspace is the name of the company.
Slow it down just a little bit. Say it again.
Yeah.
My Podspace, MY pod like podcast and space like spaces.
Yep.
And LinkedIn, Eddie Kelufi, maybe this. I don't know.
It will be in the show notes.
Yeah, and of course, Brian, if anybody has questions, where do they get a hold of you in case they just want to go through you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, Brian Sparks, or Brian at Silicon Valley Impact. I will, filter all those questions that they may have about Eddie, Daniel, and Zamir. Daniel, thank you for being here today. Eddie, thank you. Zamir, any parting words, buddy?
Well, just like we said today, you have to focus on what you want to build, right? There's so much noise out there. Try to align your goals, and money is only the means. Like for me, freedom is the essential goal.
It really is. And I think I heard
Freedom
a little
is the
implant there
essential.
for be a good communicator.
That's
Lisa,
it for
thank
today.
you.
Money is the
Lisa, thank you.
means.
Brian, thank you.
Freedom is the...
This is Silicon Valley Impact. Join us every Tuesday.
I wanna listen to that
here
again.
on
I wanna
KPCR
listen to that.
92.9
I want to listen to that again. I want to listen to that again.
Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact.
The means, like for me, well, just like we said today, you have to focus on what you want to build, right? There's so much noise out there. Try to align your goals, and money is only the means. Like for me, freedom is the essential goal.
It really is, and I think I heard a little implant there for be a good communicator.
That's it
Lisa,
for
thank
today.
you. Lisa, thank you. Brian, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. This is Silicon Valley Impact. Join us every Tuesday at 3 p.m. here on KPCR 92.
That's really cool, like he's saying it out loud. Money is a means, and freedom is the essential goal. Like I can relate it so much. So juicy. What do you guys think about freedom? The good thing is it doesn't have any seeds, so you can just gulp it. It's good, tasty, juicy. More fruits, no fast foods. No chocolates. I gotta take care of my teeth. So nice. I have 10 followers on Twitch, but no one is watching in Twitch. So cares? Maybe I'll eat one more orange because I'm damn hungry. Go straight. I'm in the airport. I'm close to airport. Boom shake. Boom 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 shake. It's so sticky. Orange. Yeah, I'll do it after I park the car. It's risky. Okay, cool down. Anti-fragility. That's a good concept, you know. Fragile is when you throw a glass bottle and it breaks. Anti-fragile is when you throw a thing and it grows stronger. Like the immigrants, they come here and they grow here, right? So that's really good concept. So I'm in the hardest part. Let me check. It's for $10. Not bad. Pizza Hut. Good. That's very good.